Alright, here we are in this best of 5 series played out in the Aureil Stormgate Tournament Invitational number 2, second edition I should say. And this is played out in the round of 16 between our blue Vanguard player here, jayxp123, and his red Vanguard player, the sexy man himself. This is mangrusl. And so far, it looks like jayxp123 has managed to scout in the right direction. Although is he just on patrol? Or like not patrol, but what do? You waypoint? Let's see here. Yeah. So he is on attack move over here. I wonder, maybe is he looking for the other dog? It's not clear. But mangrusl has now scouted 2 locations and realized, well, you always find it in the last place you scout. And that's just because you wouldn't scout any more places otherwise. I say that, but that's exactly what jayxp is doing. He scouted every location. But he has also sent his overcharged bobs down to build a command post. So far it's just a command post here out of jayxp, which is definitely a greedy opening because there are 2 more dogs here showing up. And this scout is, well, it was trying to pick at that overcharged bobs, but overcharged bobs are pretty hard to kill. And they've built themselves a Rax, and we see our first Lancer coming out. I think a buzzsaw turret might be advisable here. Don't see those other dogs here. They are attacking slimes. Interestingly, each of them not focus firing a slime. So I wonder if there's a strategy there. But pulling back the weak ones and now having the slimes focus fire the one with the most HP, the one that went ate the cabbage. So pretty good move here by mangrusl in the creeping here, while also having a couple Lancers on the way to rush. I think this is maybe in response to seeing that indeed jayxp had gone command post first. And jayxp is going to try and get on top of these Lancers. He does block one from getting out, not quite. I thought that might have been a good block, but the Lancer found a route around. And there is already a command post back here as well. So these Lancers are definitely going to have to get into retreat. Run past this other sentry post again, so take a couple more shots from the sentry post. And what looked like could have been pretty bad is actually worked out alright for jayxp. He held them off and is now chasing this Lancer down. But what we find is that the dogs and actually a couple other Lancers over here have cleaned out the speed camp. So mangrusl now having the benefit of 2 different camps, and jayxp just being a little bit behind on the creeping. Going to try and start with his own speed camp over here. While it looks like mangrusl is going to go grab another camp. And it is a mech bay that's being added here with a hedgehog coming out. So it looks like jayxp is going to go a little bit more standard sort of hog play, which is common in this matchup. Whereas mangrusl has gone for Lancers and dogs. Now dogs can be pretty good against hedgehogs, and Lancers not so much, just because they can be kited pretty much infinitely. But here we see some of mangrusl's own hedgehogs coming out, and it looks like they're almost maybe quicker timed. But mangrusl, I guess, here is on a single base. So having likely cut his worker production, here we see at 19 workers here. And let's see how many workers we've got over here for jayxp. We've got 13 on this base. And so it looks like 19 here as well. So an interesting... I think maybe it's just the extra luminite that's spent on the command post has slowed down unit production a bit. And here we have these hedgehogs jumping on top of the 2 hedgehogs. We've got a repair turret going down there with mass repair as well. But it's focus fire on the turret, and the turret goes down. Some very low dogs here up front, but looks like they've got some ranks of veterancy. The hedgehogs for JXP have been kept alive, and the bobs are in full retreat. There's another repair turret back here. So JXP doing pretty good in terms of micro, but there's nowhere for him to retreat from to here. This is it. He's got to make his stand here. The repair turret is, for the moment, still staying up. Some of the Lancers are starting to go down with the bobs turning to fight it, and we do see an overcharge going now, or actually that's not an overcharge, that's just healing hugs activated. The Lancers trying to do their best to kill bobs, but bobs in the healing huddle are really hard to kill. And they get back to work as mangrusl decides to spin around and go back to the natural, trying to focus fire down certain units here, but we do have a single Vulcan that had popped out and was very clutch to this defense. So far, some damage done, maybe more damage done than was definitely wanted. Actually, a lot more. We see only 4 bobs here working at this base. And we just see a salvaged barracks. And he's pulled all the boys. The boys are coming for the march. We got 8 bobs here. So I was wondering where all the bobs have gone. Well, they are going for a march across the map. Hoping that by rallying behind this one Vulcan, the Vulcan that was able to do the defense, they might be able to win this game. So let's see what's going to happen here. It looks like a few bobs being pushed behind, so if this fails, there will be some economy. But there's already 2 Vulcans already on the high ground. We got a jump jet. We got a shields up. Oh my goodness. It's managing to stay alive. The bob's finally getting on there. It got so low, but the bob's now healing it. The shields up is over, and the hedgehogs turn to try and focus fire down again. And 2 more Vulcans pop out, and that will be GG in game number 1 from JXP. Okay, here we are right back at it. This is going to be JXP spawning in the red Vanguard up in the top left of Lost Hope here. And his opponent, winner of the first game, is going to be the sexy man, mangrusl, in the bottom left here on Lost Hope. And again, being scouted in the correct direction for JXP. And JXP trying to chip away at the paint of some of these bobs. These poor little bobs just trying to work, just assign their little robot life to mining away. And now they have to get physical with a scout. A robot scout too. He's just like, I'm just out here trying to get some battery packs off you. I need some battery packs too, bro. But for the moment, it is, we even got a overcharge here. One of these bobs is getting pretty low, but with the overcharge, he's got that bonus armor. And, oh no! He's low, but yeah, mangrusl is he's not ignoring this, and he gets his healing hugs going, and this bob is fine. So this dog sits here chewing on the paint, but for the most part having no effect. This bob again getting a little bit low. But what do we see here coming out? We've got 2 Lancers. They're going to deal with this scout pretty easily. The bob turns to fight, finally getting fed up. A few of his buddies turn to heal him. And the scout decides to get out of there before the Lancers can do harm. Actually, he's going to get this healing cabbage. Chomps it down and then says, I'm going to go get these Lancers. Although the Lancers are like, we don't care. We're not here for you, actually. We are on our way to join our scout and get this camp. And JXP is going to be trying to be, again, annoying. But, wow, okay. So he leaves the Shadow Mastiffs to maybe chase down the JXP dog and decides, no, I'm actually rushing right to your base. There's already a Bubsaw turret there. Bobs were already set up, and the dog turns around and says, no thank you, actually. Just joking. We really were going for those Shadow Mastiffs all along. It's just a very interesting delayed creeping technique. So JXP already ready for some early pressure. That's probably a good thing to do if you go fast expand like we saw JXP go. And now JXP trying to get on top of these Shadow Mastiffs, unfortunately losing his scout. That was probably not his plan. Shadow Mastiff's going down, and there's just a single Lancer here that's going to get harassed. But yeah, mangrusl is not being... He's not being annoyed basically by this harass from jayxp to start the game. jayxp, he's just trying to get any advantage since he went eco first. He's got less army, less ability to take map control. Although does have the single speed camp now. While we watch as mangrusl tries to take this other speed camp. Of course, there's a lot of luminite here in these camps. 150 each, so that's going to be 200 or 125, I should say. That's 250 total for these two camps. I didn't quite keep track if he had got all the creeps since he was getting harassed on that last camp. The single Lancer is still just out on the map for jayxp, as we already see hedgehogs coming out. So jayxp's got his single hedgehog, but he has got double mech bays in production. On the high ground, nothing. No central command yet. Oh, he is just started upgrading to his central command. And we see a few hedgehogs come running in. There's just a couple hedgehogs for jayxp. And this force for mangrusl just hits a little bit faster. And like we saw in game number 1, jayxp is now forced back to do a defend. He has to do an overcharge on his bobs. And a few more reinforcements show up for mangrusl. And he's posturing a little bit here. Doesn't really want to engage the buzzsaw pirate, but has freedom to run past it. It's so tightly close here to the mine that allows this avenue on the right hand side here. So mangrusl back out, grabbing the vision camp, using that map control. Still hasn't regained control of this speed camp yet. Just needs to micro one of his scouts over there to take it if he wishes, or one of his units that is rallying in. But instead trying to just get ahead in the income from these camps and gain some of their passive bonuses, while jayxp is now grabbing his own health camp. The sexy man is now taking the luminite tower, and jayxp's retreated back to his base for a moment, get some of those healing rays from his repair turret. And it looks like mangrusl is interested in making another push up the ramp. It is a repair turret now. And there is a shields up, so really good micro in terms of using those top bar abilities and making sure that the repair turret is focused on that same unit so it can get healed up when it's under the benefits of that shield. But mangrusl has decided, okay, if you're gonna stay in your base like that, I am gonna go take more camps. And jayxp is still being a little timid on the map, and that's because his units are a little bit outgunned at the moment. We do see now second base going down for mangrusl, and up here, well, he's got the machine lab. That don't see anything researching. That means these are probably done their research. Indeed they are. That's the transonic rockets. And pretty good pickoffs here for mangrusl. He is getting a lot of these hedgehogs while they're not being able to get the same kind of payoff. This is because mangrusl's hedgehogs are able to just sit there and focus fire for a second, while jayxp's have to continually retreat from the lancers. They don't want to get caught in the long splash damage of the lancers. And now it's just, even with the repair turret here, it looks like the hedgehogs from mangrusl are going to be enough. This one Vulcan's going to try and get in, and Vulcans have the ability to be heroes. A lot of healing coming down on the Vulcan. Is there another shields up? No, but there is another Vulcan. So jayxp was very close to losing it all there. Those bobs went cut off, but I think they want to get back on top of this repair turret and repair it back up. And the units for mangrusl scattering around a little bit. So what are these bobs doing? What are you doing? Just keep an eye on these guys. This one's like, I'm here to suicide and successfully completed mission. And the second Bob says, me too, actually. But does not successfully complete his mission. He's running away. What a coward. When he could have suicided. But actually, that's probably not the best strategy, so I am glad he is running back home. That was probably just a missed rally. Something went wrong there. We do see a hangar bay coming on the map, while mangrusl has also got a third up. So while jayxp opened quick, what is going on here? I am completely confused at this. That had to have just been a misclick, and he may not have seen that that had been going on for so long. Wow. Okay, so those Vulcans going mutiny for a second and just going full rogue. And wow, we got some Vulcans over here as well, clearing out the speed cap, having used their jump jets right there, meaning if there's a battle coming up, it will be on cooldown. And the Vulcans on the high ground getting a little bit of a quick early shots off. And mangrusl deciding to retreat back. Now with an evac, and the evac's got 2 Vulcans in it. This could be a Vulcan drop, but we do see a Vulcan push coming from jayxp as he knocks down the doors of the back, and the evac flies right on top of it, sees the push coming in. And we do see the Vulcans trying to focus down the hangar bay. And for the moment, no repair coming in, but they do have to jump jet away. They get some good stuns on there. There is a shields up on that Vulcan. Another Vulcan from the evac. And just some evac micro here, trying to put the Vulcans to the other side. Allowing the Hedgehogs to get a little bit more focus fire. And the Hedgehogs are taking down the Vulcans pretty quickly. There's only a few low Vulcans left, and the last one gets cleaned up. So that push from jayxp, not trading the way he was hoping. mangrusl with the advantage. It quickly loads up 2 of the Vulcans. Flies his way over here, right as the health camp respawns. And he's probably going to drop right here on the Luminite mine. Indeed he is. Mowing down a handful of bobs right there. Picking up again, trying to land right on top of the bobs so that he can kill a few more. And indeed he does. Some hedgehogs there trying to be defensive against these Vulcans. And for the moment zoning the evac and the Vulcans away. That one Vulcan is quite low. And the evac managing to get away for now. And having got a few bobs for its efforts. And trying to circle back around and see if we can get a few more of those bobs. But those bobs were repaired up by the repair turret. And good timing and control from jayxp to notice the Vulcans coming back again and pulling his bobs. Trying to get somewhere to plop down. Looking for a third, noticing there is not one here, although jayxp has put one down over in this position. And again, trying to get on top of some bobs. Yes, gets on top. Will he kill a few more bobs? These 2 were not pulled. And having to pull away again and using the return to hangar. Well, we see some Hornets going across the map now. It's an interesting choice. And they're going to try and come in and they're going to focus some bobs down. Even with the repair turret. No, they're going to go for the repair turret. And there is a single hedgehog sieged up. I think you can take a single set hedgehog. But Jay is actually just trying to put down a couple hedgehogs there as more like static-y kind of turrets. And here we have again, well actually it's healing hugs, so one bob goes down. The hedgehogs come in and they do siege up and they don't actually get a kill on any of those Hornets. Meanwhile, the Vulcan drop is back here, deleting a few bobs as well. The point here is to do a little bit of a two-pronged attack. We see hedgehogs sieged up here. Do we still have the hedgehogs here? No, and in fact what we do see here are bobs getting chewed away by these Vulcans. And, well, the evac picks up again. So this is pretty annoying harass right now from mangrusl. These hedgehogs here have been able to deal with the hornets, but there hasn't really been an answer to the Vulcans just yet. Here come the hedgehogs. And hedgehogs can be good against the Vulcans, but you need a lot of them. So when you focus fire them down, you can get a lot of damage. You don't have to stand in those bullets for very long. But this is fairly devastating, and yes, that is going to be a GG out of jayxp. And here we are in this best of 5, game number 3. That's going to be jayxp in the red vanguard, and his opponent is Sexy Man mangrusl here in the blue. We're seeing their pups already running across the map. We're on Isle of Dread here. And let's see what kind of build we're going to get out of these two. So far, mangrusl has managed to take the first 2 games. Could possibly clear out the series here with this game. But jayxp is going to try and make that hard on him. And see if he can force game number 4. It's a Rax, a quick early Rax from mangrusl, whereas it's 2 later Rax out of jayxp. A little bit of dog harass here. And there's already a Lancer coming across the map. So these 2 later Racks are probably in response to seeing that, as the scout of jayxp is trying to chew on that Lancer's kneecaps as he goes running by. And now what do we see coming out here? We see a Lancer in response. The habitat's down. And will we see a sentry turret here as well, so that we can get a buzzsaw cannon up? We notice that jayxp has not gone fast expand this game, where he did do that in the previous, and it is now a single Lancer and a single Bob fighting a single Lancer and a single Bob. And this is an interesting choice. The Bob and the Lancer are going for... Sorry, the dog and the Lancer are going for Bobs, and I'm not sure if they got any. They got focused down. Another Lancer just straight up rallying in and trying to get on top of the Bobs, but the Bobs assume the healing hug formation. I'm not sure what this single Lancer is going to be able to do here. There is another one coming. So this is just a train of Lancers rallying right into the mineral line. And lots of micro on this Lancer to try and keep it alive, while there are 2 Lancers there chasing it around. An overcharge goes down. And it's just a micro battle, I guess, here. Where did those other... So those Lancers ran to the health camp, but they didn't take it out. I feel like if they were back here, they would be able to clean up these Lancers a little bit better. Now it's 3 Lancers out for jayxp, so mangrusl certainly is not going to have a good opportunity here. We are starting to see some Bobs going down, though. These Lancers are super low. They gotta run away. They are running away now. We'll see if they get taken out. Oh, I'm just so close. But we now have Lancers here in the base of mangrusl, and they're going for the Bobs here. And that's gonna be... That's a GG out of jayxp.